We're here at VariZoom today, and we're going to talk to Steve Cinti. Steve Cinti here is in charge of all of our motion control and wireless focus, zoom, focus, iris controls. And today, specifically, we're going to talk about our very popular TOC control. This is our wireless follow focus system, available in 1, 2, and 3 channels. Some people buy just a single channel for just pulling focus. And or zoom focus iris. We make all this here in the USA. Why don't you go ahead and explain to folks about some of the controls and what the capabilities are?
Yeah, this is our wireless zoom focus iris system. It's operable up to around 1,000 feet, uses frequency hopping technology, so it's not going to interfere with any other wireless devices that might be around. And we have a joystick for zoom on here, and it's zero displacement, so it's pressure sensitive up to slight movements or really hard movements where it can move the motor really quickly if you need it. I have a slider for iris and a knob for focus with a removable ring for different lenses.
Now, and we have this device in multiple rental units in Los Angeles, New York, and
yes, it's very popular for renting, as it can use pretty much any ENG lens or broadcast lens or cinema lens. We have four sets of gears that'll cover pretty much any gear pitch that the lens would have on it.
Cool. And I actually have the case that this comes in. I can kind of show you folks. It comes in a nice weatherproof case here. Very stout. And you can see inside here you've got your transmitter, you've got your receiver, the antennas are off but they're in there, and then you've got a pocket for each of motors, whether you have a 1 channel or a 2 or 3 channel. All fits inside this case, nice and neat, very well protected. See the transmitter we've got here, this one's already set up with all 3 channels, and Steve can show you if you want to get in some detail here. We'll show you some of the zoom focus and iris motor movements. Now also, this can be wired direct. We can hardwire this, correct?
Yes, it can be hardwired. It can plug in here to go direct if you don't want to have wireless going on, or it can operate wirelessly.
And now tell them about setting lens limits. Not every lens has the same amount of movement, so of course we're going to have set limits on that lens. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, they can self-calibrate too, so when you do attach them on a different lens, it's just a matter of hitting one button where it can go and it'll automatically find the lens range. If you want to do a specific focal length on there, you can move the motor to specific different spots.
So you can set it and limit it to that range so you don't go past or start.
Exactly, and they're customizable on here. To stores one lens on the hand unit for zoom focus or iris.
Cool. And let's talk about the strength of the motors, because not every lens is as easy to turn as another.
Exactly. The motors, for when it's calibrating, it has a feature on there to where you can change it if the lens is stiffer or if the lens is smaller or lighter duty, and so that way you don't get a false calibrate.
Cool, cool. Yeah, we haven't had any complaints about the power of our motors. They're actually quite beefy, as you can see here. Another thing, talking about the wired, is what about repeatable?
Yes, this is repeatable if you have it run through one of our motion control heads. It's all the outputs for the motors are encoded, so if it's plugged into one of our VariZoom Cinema Pro or Cinema Pro Junior heads, it can record the lens positions or the lens movements onto the console. Yeah,
and if you hadn't already seen it, we have a pretty detailed video available on YouTube that gets into our Mochadyne and VariZoom Cinema Pro heads, where we kind of get back into the repeat pass and about being able to repeat pass not only the motion, but actually all the adjustments of the camera at the same time. Let's talk about setup time.
And it's very easy to set up, especially with the auto calibrate feature. You just find whichever gear pitch fits the lens that you're on, plug everything in, and it automatically calibrates to where the lens is set.
Great. And okay, current price point. I know we've had a couple specials here and there, but where are we at about on the?
We have them anywhere from single channel up to 3 channels available, and starting around $5,600 for a single up to around $11,000 or $12,000 for 3 channels.
3 channel. Okay. Let's talk about motor speed.
Yeah, the motors can operate anywhere between 12 to 24 volts. When operating off of 12 volts, they'll be around 1.5 rotations per second as the maximum speed. When run off of full 24 volt batteries, they can be up to 2.5 rotations per second.
We tested this out quite a bit before we brought it out, and we now have many rental houses using it. A lot of people, of course, that's one of the best ways. If you're in Los Angeles, we have them quite heavily rented out there in Los Angeles, so you can certainly rent one there, try it. And what we do have a lot of is a lot of people rent these things, and then because of the affordability, they actually just come back and buy one. Let's talk about battery life.
Battery life's depending on the watt-hour battery we have. The stock battery we provide with it, you have about 3 to 5 hours of use on there.
And what's our standard battery? It's
a Canon BP series battery.
Okay, so you can put a 6-8 hour rated Canon battery in the back and drive this thing for 2 days. Steve's here. If you ever have a question about the TOC, whether you're wanting to buy one or if you already own one, we have great customer support here, and that's what Steve's dedicated to doing, is supporting the customers that have the TOC, the Cinema Pro systems. If you haven't seen them, you can mount a Cinema Pro on a head. We have people retrofitting their Jimmy Jibs and other, much bigger cranes with our heads. Our Cinema Pro will handle up to 50 pounds. Our Cinema Pro Junior will handle up to 35 pounds. We've got a bunch of features, and if you look up online, look at some of our other YouTube videos, you'll see we've got some slicker productions in this, but this is just kind of an informal thing. Just want to introduce Steve and let you folks know that we're always here to support you.